So I'm going to be telling the story of my second birth. Why not the first? Honestly, I've told that story so many times and I'm definitely willing to tell it again, just not right now. And with that story too, in the past when I was telling it, it was coming from a place where I had not really healed from that experience. And healing from it really changed the way that I worked as a birth worker, because I was originally approaching birth work as me trying to save people, trying to save Black women from having a traumatic experience in a hospital birth, trying to save Black women from OB violence. It was not healthy, and healing, like I said, healing from that really changed the way I approach birth work. And I really see it now as myself being a mentor or a guide in a family's pregnancy and labor journey for whatever experience unfolds, because birth is unknown and unpredictable, and we are definitely still able to prepare for it, but I approach it in a very different way now. Hey there, I'm Shannon Beecham. I'm a doula, childbirth educator, breastfeeding counselor, and family herbalist. Welcome to my corner of the world. This is Vlogmas Day 7. Yeah. 8? I feel like it was just a few videos ago where I was like, oh, I'm so excited to be here. I'm so excited to do this. Today was a struggle. I was really fighting to get in front of this camera and say anything. I've got a lot on my mind. I have coming up a childbirth education class. The first class starts December 13th. I will put the link down below. It's right around the corner, but it's definitely not too late to sign up. It'll only take a few seconds. And I also have to get up very early tomorrow. I have a meeting with my bestie for something that we're doing, a live on Instagram this Friday. So basically, me and my best friend, we got together and formed Mystic Sister. And since we've done this, we've held a few classes talking about self-discovery and self-improvement in the way of healing, and even things around the home like feng shui practices and a lot of energy work. But we also do what we call a conscious convo every other Friday. So this Friday is actually going to be our last conscious convo for the year, and we'll get started again after all the holidays in January, and we will be talking about altars. So it's kind of like, mystical. And in the past, we've talked about spirit animals, numerology, human design. I don't think we've done astrology or crystals. I think that might be for the next season. So if you go to the Treasure House Projects, which I will also link below, that is our kind of parent that's housing Mystic Sister. It's a space for creatives, and so that's where we have joined forces. And you can see some of our past videos there as well. If you have any suggestions for anything like that you want me to talk about on this channel, just let me know in the comments. It might not be directly related to pregnancy or birth, but it might, because that's a part of my life and it's definitely a part of my practice. I've many times pulled out a tarot deck, and we've used crystals during prenatals and during labor. Well, not tarot during labor, but crystals. So yeah, let me know in the comments what it is that you might want to hear. And go ahead and subscribe to the channel, please. And hit the notification bell so that you know when these videos are coming, when they've uploaded, so you can be right there with me in this journey. I was kind of like, oh, do I want to tell this story? I don't feel like I'm the best storyteller. I've seen some really good birth stories. They come with video and play-by-plays and music. And I guess there's like a story time thing on YouTube, and I was just like, oh, it's kind of getting in my head, but whatever. We're gonna tell this story. It's interesting to me. I hope you find it interesting as well. So this is my second pregnancy, and it was around this time in December. My daughter is a December baby, and I was having my first home birth. So at this time, I was really, really into Just Dance on the Wii, but not even Just Dance, but there was the Michael Jackson version of Just Dance. Oh, I was like working that my whole pregnancy. And when I got closer to my due date, I'm still dropping it, twisting, whatever. If Michael is doing it, I was doing it. And lo and behold, I mean, I'm not sure, this could have just been a normal part of my laboring experience, or it could be that I was doing the most, but my bag of waters had a tear, so I was leaking, but it was just so slight. It was so slight, but I let my midwife know, and what I ended up having to do was using this antibacterial wash to rinse myself after I went to the bathroom, because basically once the bag of waters is broken, then you know you're susceptible to an infection, like infections, stuff getting in, because the point of that is to protect the baby. And so it was no big deal. I was just trying to you know, stay clean, but also stay easy. No more dancing. I was actually told to just stay at home, and I did not. I tried to, but I think I was just getting stir crazy, which is funny to say now during COVID, where like all I do is stay home. But I went out on, I guess you could call it a baby moon. Like, this was before this kind of stuff was a thing. But we just went out to my favorite place to go get some food. I'm trying to think. I think we went to, we're here in the DC area. It's called New Vegan now, but that wasn't the name of it then. I can't remember what the name of it was then. But we went there and picked up food, and then there was also Sankofa bookstore. We went and got some juice, and I've been drinking, you know, juices and smoothies. It's just a part of my diet. But this juice just did not sit well. I threw it all up, and I was like, okay, you know, sucks. That was like, you know, a really good drink. And then my contractions though had started. So I was just like, we're in DC. We lived in Maryland. It's not super far, but I'm like, we should probably head home now. So we get home, and somehow, some way, we ended up with a house full of people, but some of the best people, were really good friends of ours, people whose weddings we've attended, births we've attended. You know, we're there for the birthday parties. This was like family, like friends and family. And I remember, like, especially because this was around the holidays, so even out of town family, my brother-in-law, sister-in-law were here, and we were just all in my mother-in-law's living room, which is where my husband and I were living at the time, in her house, not her living room. And we were just playing video games. Well, my husband was playing video games with his friends, and I was just chilling, you know, enjoying the company. And then contractions felt like they were getting a little bit stronger. It was a little more difficult for me to kind of stay in the moment and stay present with what everyone else was doing. And so I moved to the kitchen. I really didn't go that much farther. I moved to the kitchen and I was using an exercise ball and just, you know, moving my hips on that during contractions. And then we started timing contractions at that time. And so it was like, you know, official. This is the real deal. They're here. And I want to say we let our midwife know. I don't know. I've never been the best at that. I know with, not to jump around too much, but I know with my third pregnancy, my husband just behind my back went ahead and let the midwife know. I had no idea they had been talking as long as they had. I didn't let her know until things had like really kicked off, but I'm super glad he did that. She still didn't make it in time, but I'm really glad that he let her know when she did it, because she still was there at the perfect time. But anyway, so I'm on the exercise ball and timing contractions, and possibly we let the midwife know. And then it got to the point again where just being in the kitchen and still being around a bunch of people, it was too much. So that's when I made my way back to the bedroom. And it was kind of like I guess in my dream of what I wanted my birth to be like, I wanted my first daughter to be there. She was a toddler at that time, but this was late at night as it was, so she was already asleep, and I didn't want to wake her up just for this experience. If she had already just been awake, that would have been one thing, but you know, she was already asleep. Her and my mother-in-law, they were in her bed in their room. I'm sure they had like a night of cartoons and laughing before they passed out. And so I go to our room and my husband is with me, and we've got the lights low. He made an entire playlist for me. He did like some, I guess, DJing for a little while on an online radio station, and he's a musician by nature. So, you know, he made me an amazing playlist. I remember still some of the songs on there. Erykah Badu, of course, just my love. She was my doula then, before she was a doula. And we had some, it wasn't incense, we were actually burning herbs. And I knew actually that mugwort is used to encourage contractions and to encourage the start of labor. And so I didn't want to have, even though this was my second pregnancy, I did not want to have a really long drawn out labor. So I was like, burn the mugwort. Let's see if we can get things kicked up some more. It made the entire house smell like marijuana. And so my midwife is coming in and she's like, what is that smell? And I was just like, it's mugwort, I promise. We're not smoking in here. Not now, at least. So we had, you know, we had the smell goods, we had the darkness, I had the music, and I remember at one point people kind of coming in and out of the room talking, and I was just like, y'all got to be quiet or you got to go. And that was definitely the point where I was really going inward. I was really in the zone. I don't remember if I took a shower or not, but I'm willing to bet I did. That was kind of my thing. I've never done a water birth, but the shower, the water from the shower is always just really comforting. So my midwife is on her way at this point, and then we call her again and we're just like, my husband's like, yeah, she wants to push. She hasn't gotten there yet. So she was like, have her lay down on her side, see if we can't slow things down just a little bit so I have a chance to get there. And that was kind of miserable. It's never fun to have to be in a position that you didn't want to be in. But I definitely did it because I wanted her to be there. I had doulas as well. At that point, I was in my doula training, and so part of the training is to attend births. And so I had invited everyone. The doula training was out in Baltimore. People are trying to come from Baltimore to this birth. They didn't make it. I ended up pushing, and my daughter was born right there at home in the bed, just me and my husband, and the midwife coaching him on the phone. And it really wasn't that bad. I loved, that was my first experience of having a birth at home, and even though the pain of labor is intense, it was just such a different experience than being at the hospital. I was so much more relaxed, and I had all my friends and family around me when I wanted them to be around, but even when they weren't necessarily right beside me, just being able to hear the laughter and everyone out front just kind of excited and waiting made me feel good. It made me feel supported. And I did tear quite a bit because I was trying not to push. I was having this weird like back and forth with my body because I really wanted my midwife to be there. I was nervous about, giving birth without her there. But I could not play that game for long, and eventually, she came on out into the world, and she was just this quiet and sweet, and that's just the way she is even now, just quiet and sweet. And I delivered eventually my placenta, and then once the cord stopped pulsing, my husband cut it. And then at this point, my midwife did finally make it, and then she checked on me, she checked on the baby, sewed me up, and that's all she wrote. It's not a long story. I wish I could have made it more dramatic and exciting, but that was all that it was, all there was to it. And after that, I knew that if I were to be pregnant again, I knew I wanted to have another home birth. That was just such an amazing experience for me. And she was breastfed. It was a lot easier that second time around breastfeeding. She was such a quiet baby and a sleeper that it's normal and expected for them to lose a little bit of weight between their birth and their first doctor's appointment, which is usually a couple days afterwards. But she was at the limit, she cannot lose any more weight, and I had to become a lot more serious about really waking her up to feed her, which was kind of counterintuitive to how I wanted it to be. I wanted, to feed her whenever she showed signs of being hungry, but that was what was necessary at the time, and so we definitely did it. And we have a healthy, happy 6-year-old, soon to be 7. So her birthday is during the week of Kwanzaa, and we will get to that celebration later. Okay, so that's it. I hope you enjoyed the story. If you have any questions, maybe something will help me to remember other things that happened. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section, and I will definitely respond. I'm going to go ahead and get to work on this class. I've got some emails to send out, and then I'm going to bed. Peace.